In early 2025, the US-Canada economic partnership was rocked by a new wave of protectionism from the Trump administration. Decades of close cooperation and mutual prosperity were suddenly thrown into question as leaders on both sides of the border scrambled to respond to the shifting political winds. On January 20th, a sweeping 25% tariff on all Canadian imports was announced, set to take effect in April. The news dominated headlines, sparking heated debates in both parliaments and igniting concern among business leaders, workers, and families whose livelihoods depended on cross-border trade. The move sent shockwaves through both economies, signaling a new era of confrontation. Markets tumbled, and uncertainty rippled through industries from manufacturing to agriculture, as companies braced for the fallout of escalating trade tensions. By March, the US raised tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum to 50%, responding to Ontario's electricity surcharge on US exports. The tit-for-tat measures deepened the rift, with both governments justifying their actions as necessary to protect national interests. Temporary talks eased tensions, but the trade war quickly became reality with new taxes on steel and aluminum. Negotiators struggled to find common ground, as each side dug in, unwilling to appear weak in the face of mounting pressure. Canada retaliated with its own 25% tariff on US-made vehicles, targeting a vital American industry. The auto sector, already facing global competition and technological change, now found itself at the center of a high-stakes political standoff. The once stable relationship was now defined by uncertainty, casting a shadow over businesses and workers. Small business owners, factory employees, and entire communities worried about their future as the economic landscape shifted beneath their feet. Amid the turmoil, the nearly completed Gordie Howe International Bridge became a symbol of Canada's commitment to cross-border trade. Its construction, years in the making, now took on new meaning as a beacon of resilience and hope. Built for cooperation, the bridge now stood as a bold statement of defiance against the very tariffs threatening its purpose. It represented not just infrastructure, but the enduring ties and shared aspirations of two nations. Even as political forces pulled the nations apart, the bridge embodied hope for a connected future. For many, it was a reminder that, despite the challenges, the bonds between the US and Canada could withstand even the fiercest storms. The Gordie Howe International Bridge is a $6.4 billion Canadian investment, fully funded by Canada, connecting Windsor and Detroit. Designed to relieve the aging Ambassador Bridge, it's a 6-lane, 1.5-mile marvel built to handle nearly a quarter of all cross-border truck traffic. Construction began in 2018, involving thousands of workers and complex logistics. By March 2025, the bridge was over 90% complete, despite running $700 million over budget and 10 months behind schedule. The Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority remained committed to a September 2025 opening, seeing the bridge as a long-term asset. In the face of tariffs and political tension, Canada pressed forward, betting on the enduring value of US-Canada economic integration. The bridge stands as a strategic investment for the next century, regardless of short-term turmoil. The Detroit-Windsor corridor is the heart of North America's auto industry, a vital artery connecting two nations and powering an economic engine that supports millions of jobs. Every day, thousands of parts and finished vehicles cross the border in a seamless, carefully choreographed flow, keeping assembly lines running on both sides. But the 2025 tariffs shattered this delicate system, threatening to grind just-in-time manufacturing to a halt and sending shockwaves through the entire supply chain. Up to 40% of Michigan's auto parts come from Canada. A sudden 25% cost hike is simply unsustainable for many manufacturers, squeezing margins and forcing tough decisions. Stellantis idled its Windsor plant for 2 weeks, triggering a domino effect across the supply chain, with suppliers and workers feeling the immediate impact. The Gordie Howe Bridge, once envisioned to streamline this cross-border ecosystem and boost trade, now faces a future clouded by uncertainty as trade is suppressed and optimism fades. Automakers and suppliers are left in limbo, forced to reconsider investments, delay expansion plans, and rethink long-term strategies in the face of unpredictable policy shifts. The risk of plant closures and job losses looms large on both sides of the border, threatening the livelihoods of thousands of families and entire communities. The industry's prosperity, built on decades of free trade and cross-border cooperation, is now threatened by political decisions that could unravel years of progress. The bridge, once a symbol of growth and opportunity, now stands at the crossroads of uncertainty, its promise overshadowed by economic and political turmoil. The auto sector faces its greatest challenge in decades, not from shifting markets or new technologies, but from the unpredictable forces of politics and protectionism. Tariffs may target foreign goods, but their true cost lands on domestic consumers. When governments impose tariffs, they are essentially adding a tax on imported goods. This tax is often passed down the supply chain, eventually reaching the end consumer. The 2025 US-Canada trade war means higher prices for American households, as tariffs on Canadian goods and US vehicles ripple through the economy. Everyday items, from groceries to electronics, see price hikes, making it harder for families to manage their budgets. Analysts warn the average family could pay thousands more per year, with car prices especially hard hit. The automotive industry, heavily reliant on cross-border trade, faces significant disruptions, leading to increased costs for consumers. A 25% supply chain disruption could add thousands to a new car's sticker price, forcing tough choices for buyers. Many may delay or forgo purchasing new vehicles, impacting the auto industry and related sectors. Reduced consumer spending chills the broader economy, threatening jobs and growth. Retailers and manufacturers may face declining sales, leading to layoffs and store closures. Tariffs on steel and aluminum also raise construction costs, squeezing family budgets further. Home renovations and infrastructure projects become more expensive, affecting both homeowners and the construction industry. Cross-border travel plummeted after political tensions, with Canadian trips to the US dropping 32%, hurting border businesses. Tourism and local economies that depend on cross-border traffic suffer significant losses. The economic and personal ties that once united the two countries are fraying, leaving consumers to pay the price. Long-standing relationships between businesses and communities are strained, impacting social and economic cohesion. Protectionism's ripple effects reach far beyond trade statistics. They hit everyday life. From the grocery store to the car dealership, the impact of tariffs is felt in every corner of daily living, underscoring the interconnectedness of global economies. As the Gordie Howe Bridge neared completion, doubts grew. Would it become a bridge to nowhere? Canada's plan to recoup its $6.4 billion investment relies on robust cross-border traffic and tolls, but tariffs threaten to slash trade volumes, risking the bridge's financial viability. The fear: a white elephant, an expensive, underused monument to failed policy. Just-in-time supply chains are sensitive to cost. A 25% tariff could force companies to reroute or localize production. If truck crossings drop, revenue projections collapse, turning ambition into miscalculation. Still, Canadian officials remain optimistic, betting that protectionism is temporary and trade will rebound. The bridge is a high-stakes gamble on the future of US-Canada relations. Amid the trade war, Canada's construction sector showed surprising strength. Firms like WSP and Stantec outperformed US rivals, buoyed by robust domestic demand. Toronto's skyline boomed, with crane counts up 20% while US cities saw declines. Public infrastructure investment and strong immigration fueled growth, offsetting export pain. The Gordie Howe Bridge itself is a symbol of this strategy, building for the future, not just today. Canada's internal momentum proved it wasn't entirely dependent on US trade. This resilience gave Ottawa leverage, showing the economy could withstand pressure. The construction boom became a symbol of Canadian adaptability in a turbulent world. Even in crisis, Canada found ways to thrive. The trade conflict quickly spread to local governments, sparking new retaliation. Ontario banned US construction firms from public contracts, locking them out of a $140 billion market. Toronto followed suit, blocking American companies from $150 million in city projects. These bans created a protected ecosystem for Canadian firms, while US competitors were shut out. The result: Canadian construction thrived, US firms faltered, and the market split along national lines. Local actions complicated any resolution, as more actors joined the dispute. Protectionist attitudes hardened, making a return to open markets more difficult. The once integrated sector now faced deepening fragmentation. The 20,000 dates and site mine, Sodix Tommy back to my mind. 45 trade war forced a reckoning for the US-Canada partnership. The Gordie Howe Bridge, set to open in September, stands as a $6.4 billion bet on renewed cooperation. If tariffs persist, it risks becoming a costly relic. If peace returns, it will be vital for recovery. Canada's resilience has shifted the balance, proving it's not just a junior partner. The trade war may push Canada to diversify and strengthen its own markets. Ultimately, both nations must recognize their shared interests and rebuild trust. In a trade war between close neighbors, there are no winners, only shared losses. The future depends on leaders' ability to forge a new, enduring framework for cooperation.